hope you all had a wonderful week. Welcome to InfoScope. I'm your host, Hannah Kim. It's once again time for the latest from the IT and science worlds. Let's take a look at what we have coming up in the first part of our show. We are getting very close to the summertime, and many people are probably planning their summer holidays. While vacations are wonderful opportunities to relax and have fun, we always feel exhausted when we return. We've got some tips on how to overcome this. And in other news, many parents are worried that their children might be addicted to video games. New research suggests that a good relationship with parents can reduce the risk of video game addiction. We have more on this and more next on Briefing Scope. According to a survey targeting 5,220 middle school and high school students in Korea, good relationships between the father and his son and the mother and her daughter help reduce risks of video game addiction. The researchers explained that being able to identify with parents of the same sex played an important role in reducing addiction risks in children. Going on vacation forces the body to deal with unfamiliar patterns such as eating or being active more than usual. Experts say that the quickest way to return to normal is to restore the biorhythm. Ways to achieve this include going to bed early the night before work and sleeping 7 to 8 hours on average. Researchers from England's University of Cambridge have succeeded in observing a human embryo for 13 days under conditions similar to a uterus. This research promises new insights into numerous fields and issues such as early human development and causes of early-stage miscarriages. A new study suggests that some of the microbes in our gut have a potential to spread from person to person. Scientists showed that 1/3 of the spores created by the bacteria can survive in open air, and that obesity and bowel disorders could spread in this manner. Interesting. I guess if you're concerned about your weight, you should be aware of all the factors that affect obesity, and it's more than just watching what you eat. Now, on that note, food can be a source of concern not only because of overeating or undereating, but also because of the scents and tastes. The scents and tastes can negatively affect a person's life expectancy. We'll have more on this in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at the Korean government's investment in basic science research. It actually turns out to be much less than announced, and most of the investment is earmarked for development and practical research. We have all the full analysis and more details in Industry Inside.
The over $900 million budget set aside for developing basic research may appear like a decent sum. However, critics have pointed out that Korea's basic research is lacking. Even Seoul National University's College of Natural Science is too focused on catch-up research and overlooks original studies. Some even say that the Korean government is mistreating basic sciences. In the basic research plan, mathematics, physics, and chemistry make up only 1/3 of the entire budget.
기초과학에 투자를 한다는 의미로 그 기초 연구에다가 그 투자를 한다. 이렇게 발표를 하고 현실적으로는 그 기초 연구의 거의 한 70-80%가 사실은 응용 사업화 기술 개발에 그 쏟아붓고 있는 형편이죠.
Investments in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and earth science dropped from 20% in 2011 to 16% in 2015. The government says that this change reflects the drop of importance of basic sciences in the science world.
실제로 기초과학 쪽으로 학생들이 일단은 많이 안 가잖아요. 교수님들도 학생들 유치하기 어려우시고 시대적으로 사실 반영됐다고 보는데 정부가 기초과학을 홀대하기 위해서 그런 정책을 편 건 아니거든요.
At this rate, Korea will become less and less competitive in basic research. Some even predict that basic research will become relegated as a tool for applied research. Food is not just a source of nutrition and energy, but also of fun and joy. However, the joys of eating are also raising concerns about overeating.
이때까지 소식을 하면은 장수를 한다는 것은 잘 알려져 있습니다.
However, new research shows that being stimulated just by smell or taste may negatively affect a person's lifespan. The taste or scent of food is picked up by sensory neurons, and when these neurons are active, more insulin is secreted. Researchers experimented with a species of roundworm widely used for research on aging. They activated the sensory neurons with chemicals extracted from the worm's food and noticed an increase in the level of insulin hormone INS6. INS6 sends signals through the body to stunt the activities of factors that boost life expectancy.
향후 포유동물과 같은 고등동물로 확인을 해야겠지만 본 연구 결과는 음식의 냄새와 맛이 노화를 조절할 수 있다는 것을 보여줬다는 점에서 중요하다고 볼 수 있겠습니다.
This research was published in the academic journal Genes and Development. One advantage of breastfeeding is that it boosts the baby's immune system. Breast milk contains compounds that can stunt the growth of germs, as well as antibodies that combat harmful foreign materials. Recent research suggests that breast milk can help the development of a premature baby's brain. This research has garnered interest as the part of the brain responsible for cognitive functions is less developed in premature babies. However, breast milk contains oligosaccharides which cannot be digested by newborns. Even so, it is there for a reason.
우유가 그 올리고당을 담고 있는 이유는 그 올리고당이 바로 몸에 살고 있는 유익균의 먹이가 되기 때문이죠. 그래서 올리고당은 아기 몸에 들어가서 좋은 균을 살리는 데 사용이 되고 또 그리고 좋은 균들은 그거를 대사를 시켜서 다시 포도당으로 전환을 시켜서 아기들에게 영양분 상태로 돌려주게 됩니다.
What's more surprising is that oligosaccharides are created only in the breastfeeding mother's body. Breast milk is a comprehensive package of proteins and minerals that helps boost the immune system and gives additional nutrients. Breast milk is true medicine for babies.
We have a lot of great stories today, but we have more interesting news coming your way. As you know, greenhouses help plants grow regardless of the weather conditions outside. And many people consider Germany's Heidelberg to be the home of the world's first modern greenhouse. But new findings show that Korea's ancestors from the Joseon dynasty may have beat them to it by 170 years. But before the story, let's turn to an update about PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Sometimes doctors find it hard to treat patients with PTSD because the diagnosing process itself can trigger memories of the major traumatic incident. Luckily, Korean researchers may have found a solution to this problem. We have more details about this and more next on Take a Peek.
This woman was involved in a major bus accident. She has been receiving treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, for the past year, but even today, just riding a bus will make her stiffen. PTSD is a long-lasting disorder that causes a great deal of suffering, but very few seek medical treatment. However, Korean researchers have come up with a method that will allow doctors to easily diagnose potential PTSD patients. The method is based on 28 questions that determine whether the person receiving a health checkup is suffering from PTSD as well or not. There aren't any questions that refer to specific experiences, so patients do not have to recall their traumatic moments. Moreover, this method can diagnose other mental illnesses such as depression or adjustment disorders.
외상후 스트레스 장애 환자분들은 사건을 떠올리면 그때 느꼈던 불안감, 또 불편한 신체 감각 이런 감정들이 마구 올라오기 때문에 상당히 그것 때문에 힘들어하시고 제대로 이렇게 정확한 답변을 저희가 구하기가 힘듭니다.
Almost half of all patients who have encountered physical harm suffer from PTSD. If doctors can diagnose PTSD patients without having to stimulate their traumatic memories, more patients will actively seek treatment. The annals of the Joseon dynasty records show that flowers were offered to kings in winter. On the 11th day of the first month in 1509 during King Jungjong's reign, spring flowers were offered to the king. An entry on the 14th day of the 11th month in 1483 during King Seongjong's reign writes that winter flowers are artificial and therefore must not be offered. How are flowers grown in wintertime during the Joseon dynasty? The answer was found by chance in a pile of old books. This book, titled Sanga Yorok, was written in 1450 and had instructions on how to build a greenhouse. According to the instructions, a greenhouse would have 3 walls and an Ondol floor with about 45 centimeters of soil on it. Ondol refers to a Korean traditional heating method. A window was set to face south, and Hanji, a Korean traditional paper covered in oil, was to be used. Making a fire in a furnace would heat the Ondol floor and boil water in a cauldron simultaneously. The steam would then enter the greenhouse.
산과 요록에 기록되어 있는 그대로 우리가 구현을 한다면 지금도 충분히 온실을 구성할 수 있는 그런 것이 가능하리라고 보여집니다.
As part of reenacting past farming methods, a Chosun-era greenhouse was built based on the old instructions. Tests showed that the Ondol heating, steam, and natural light kept temperatures above 0 indoors, and that flowers and vegetables could be cultivated.
식물이 자라는 데는 큰 문제 없이 엄동설안에서도 채소를 가꿀 수 있다라고 생각합니다.
This greenhouse may be one of the world's first modern greenhouses, predating early greenhouses from Heidelberg, Germany, by 170 years. Korea's ancestors cultivated flowers and vegetables in greenhouses with their knowledge and science and wisdom all these years ago. This is an image of mitochondria, which breaks down nutrients and creates energy. Abnormalities in mitochondria's functions can lead to metabolic diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, musculoskeletal diseases, and also age-related deterioration. The meroprotein, which exists on the outer wall of mitochondria, transports mitochondria to the endoplasmic reticulum, which acts as a calcium storage unit. The Korea Research Institute of Bioscience and Biotechnology, the Korea Basic Science Institute, and Stanford University's School of Medicine have confirmed for the first time that the calcium in mitochondria can affect neural stem cells.
이 미로라는 단백질이 없어지게 되면은 이 미토콘드리아를 소포체로 못 데려가서 칼슘을 흡수를 못하기 때문에 결과적으로 미토콘드리아 칼슘이 줄어들어서 세포 기능이 저하되는 현상을 저희가 확인을 했습니다.
The meroprotein helps increase contact between mitochondria and the endoplasmic reticulum so that mitochondria can absorb calcium, also creating the energy needed for neural stem cells to regenerate themselves. The researchers also confirmed that the calcium in mitochondria affected the maintenance and division of neural stem cells. These results have the potential to be used to treat cancer and metabolic, neurodegenerative, and cardiovascular disorders, among others.
신경암이라든가 신경퇴행성 질환을 이 미토콘드리아 칼슘 농도 조절을 통해서 치료를 할 수 있는지 그런 치료 효과를 검증하는 연구를 궁극적으로 이제 완수를 했습니다.
This research was published online on Developmental Cell, a sister publication of the International Biology Journal, Cell.
Ever since you were young, I'm sure you heard at least once in your life to drink milk for calcium. In retrospect, I think I took that for granted, but this last story proves that it's important to keep a consistent intake of calcium all the time. Now it's already time for me to say goodbye, but we will be back again next week with other eye-opening and interesting stories from the IT and science worlds. Thank you for joining us and see you again next time. Goodbye!